Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Drewberry, and I wanted to cover the leaked balance changes that were just kind of announced over the community space, I would say, on the Reddits and everywhere else. Pretty hype. I'm pretty sure they're legit, and they're probably going to drop later tonight when the new season, the February season, launches, which seems to be our boy MODOK that's going to be coming soon. Pretty hyped about that. So I just wanted to cover these changes because they are huge. These are some meta-defining changes. Honestly, I'm here for them. I'm here for all the changes every time because it's just a way to shake up the game. And I think that's healthy. If we ever want these cards to come back to life, then we'll just, change them later down the line. Like, it just mixes things up. Now, I'm definitely not saying these cards are dead. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think we are still going to see a lot of these two cards. But the two affected are Silver Surfer. Okay, so Silver Surfer has been leaked to be changed to a 3/2. On reveal, give your other 3 cost cards +2 power. I feel like this was the most expected change to see from Silver Surfer, the +2 power. Like, the +3 power is just insane, guys. Like, anytime there's been +3 power in this game, it usually ends up pretty bonkers and has to get nerfed. It was just a bit too much. There was this big turn 6s, all kinds of power to your broodlings, whatever else you got going on. It was a bit out of hand. So they did greatly reduce his power output, so they gave him +2 power on his body. But honestly, that doesn't really matter either, because very often are you not playing Silver Surfer for the power. Like, you don't need that location. You're trying to buff the other location. So I feel like that's not a huge change, but maybe it helps out in a couple of games. I have some cards above me here that I think are going to kind of benefit, kind of some winners, or maybe ones that aren't affected as bad from these changes, right? And then some losers. So I got Wong, Sarah, and Maximus here because these are cards that were already added to the Silver Surfer deck, and I don't think they're going to be the ones that are cut because of this change. The whole deck might actually stay intact, but for the most part, I think it's still really good to get a double spin with Wong on your Silver Surfer. Really, really good to discount it with Sarah, right? So that you can play 2 other 3 drops in Surfer, still get a lot of power on that final turn. Just because it was taken down a notch, it's still going to be a crazy output. And then Maximus, I have Maximus here over Brood because Brood gets hit 3 times, right? That's -3 power for Brood, essentially. So I feel like Brood might end up being cut. Maybe, probably not, probably still in there, but definitely not the power swing that it used to be. Whereas Maximus is only losing 1 power. He still ends up being a 3/9. Your opponent draws some cards, but that's not the end of the world when you're getting a 3/9 on the board. So that's pretty awesome. I feel like he still will be very, very good in these Silver Surfer decks. But the cards that I think are losing, yeah, the Brood, because of the power. I got Mr. Negative here, and, actually these changes change Negative so much. It's crazy. So Mr. Negative was insane with Surfer because he could turn into a 0/3. Now it becomes a 2 cost, 3 power, which is so underwhelming. You can't really do the same shenanigans that you used to be doing. Maybe you still run it in that deck, but it's going to hurt a lot more than it used to. So I don't even know if that becomes a thing. Do we still see Negative Surfer as a deck? Like, I don't know. It might just die because of this change. That's all it takes. That's what Negative does to the game. If something is buffed in power, then it kind of affects Negative. If it's nerfed in power, then it affects Negative. But the other one I have here that probably doesn't seem very intuitive is Leech. And it's not because Leech ever worked really well with Surfer. It's actually the opposite. It's because Leech existed to counter Surfer. Maybe if you've only been playing for the last few months, you wouldn't know this, but Leech was never played since beta. For 6 months, you never saw this card. It was one of the worst. People were calling for buffs, okay? And then all of a sudden, with Silver Surfer decks rising to prominence because of that crazy combination of power that you could do on turn 6, it became really good to actually leech the hand on turn 5 so that your opponent couldn't do that crazy burst of power. And then, of course, his companion leader was also a very good combination. So I feel like this change to Surfer actually impacts Leech as well, and maybe even kicks him out of the meta more than he already was. And now Leader's been nerfed to oblivion, and Leech doesn't really do his thing anymore. Silver Surfer has changed quite a bit, and then there's another meta-defining card that has been greatly changed, and it is Zabu. Oh my goodness, I feel like this was the most warranted change, and it feels bad because a lot of people just got the season pass, they were excited about it, they paid money for this card, and now it's nerfed, and I don't know how to mend those feelings. Like, it's just kind of what you got. Buyer's remorse, we got to watch out. You just got to be careful when you spend money in this game. That's all I can say, because cards can change, and they're going to prioritize the health of the game, the balance of the game, over those negative feelings that are going to come from cards being changed that you paid money for. It's just a thing that we have to be aware of, so just be careful, okay? But Zabu has finally been changed. It was previously a 3-2 that would discount your for cost to 2 less, and now it's a 2-2. It's going to discount your for costs by 1. This is pretty significant for a few reasons, but I still actually believe that Zabu is going to see quite a bit of play. Anytime there's discount, it's pretty good in this game, and actually there's a few combinations here that might be even better because of this change. So anyway, the discounting by 1 is huge, but then, you know, losing the double discount is pretty big as well. So your cards that get affected are like Spider-Man, right? There's the Spider-Man Absorbing Man combo, and like a lot of people are saying you can't quite do that. Now you could technically still Zabu on 2, Mystique on 3, and then you're still getting those same discounts. You know, there's a few steps and you can't quite, you know, it's not as good, but maybe it ends up happening, or there's other ways that you can do the Spider-Man Absorbing Man combo. So we got to look out for that. It still might be in the works, but for the most part, it's not as consistent, and that was really tilting a lot of people. Some people might not see it very often, depending on what series you're in. I didn't see it all that much, but I know that it was frustrating when it did happen, so good riddance. Wong, I feel like Wong gets hit here because if you play Wong on 3, right, which seems like the natural way to play a card after Zabu, it just seems that much easier to counter. I really liked with Zabu that I could play 2 4 costs, and I could play Wong in tandem with Shuri or something like that. I could get immediate value from the Wong rather than playing it and showing my opponent, this is what I plan on doing, this is where my game plan is arriving, and instead they would just Cosmo me, and then I'd get countered. So I feel like Wong takes a bit of a hit here. The other one is Darkhawk. Darkhawk has been so good, and it was really fueled by Zabu discounting Rock Slide, Darkhawk, Absorbing Man, Spider-Man. Like, this whole deck all came together and was doing way too well. So this card was leading the charge for that deck, and now it's been nerfed. So I feel like that deck will get shuffled up. Still very good, still probably pretty good, but Darkhawk definitely getting a step down in power. I got them faded out in black-white. They're not dead cards, guys. These are not dead cards. It's just the ones that I thought get negatively affected, maybe over some other ones. But definitely let me know what you guys think about these changes in the comments below. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. Also, I have to comment on the buffs side here, the cards that actually do better, I think. So Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative always likes to be paired with Psylocke. Psylocke gives +1 energy, and then you can play negative on 3, and then you can do all your crazy stuff and draw all those cards. You have more turns to draw those negatized cards, and Zabu's just like a better Psylocke now. Like, I think in most instances, you're going to run Zabu in your deck that has a few 4 costs over Psylocke almost every time. Psylocke now works if you want to play it later on and you want to get a cheat out a 5 or a 6 drop, right? But Zabu, if it's 4 costs you're trying to cheat out, Zabu's your guy. And it works beautifully with Mr. Negative. Kazar is another one that I think would be pretty nice, because then you Kazar on 3, and then you could like Shannon the She-Devil on 4, and then you got like the Savage Land synergy going on, and they kind of just work staggered that way, because already with that kind of lineup, you're playing too many cards and you run out of space anyways. So I don't think playing multiples on the same turn is that crucial to the deck. Like, I don't think it matters too much. So I feel like actually that could work now, the Savage Land buff maybe. And then Shuri's another good one, because you can Shuri on 3 and then do whatever you want on 4 or 5. Like, Shuri was really good in tandem with like a Wong or with 2 cards and just doing it all at once, but I think she is just still so strong as a card. You're still going to see a lot of Shuri. She's a great pickup, and she's going to work really well played after the Zabu turn, I think. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about these changes. I will be streaming the MODOK, the new season, tonight. I'm hyped for it, so definitely tune in then. And until then, I will catch you guys next time.